Purchase the Millionaire Savings Plan, available on Amazon.com and BrokeGeniuses.com. Learn how to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, get out of debt, save more money, achieve your financial goals, and live a better life. What's going on today? Today, we're going to be talking about how hard is it to become a millionaire. Primarily, this is from a perspective of in the United States of America. I currently live in the United States of America, so this is a perspective from the United States. So outside of America, I'll let you comment what you think how hard it is versus America, or if you live somewhere else. Your input is valuable, but this is once again a perspective from being in the United States. How hard is it to become a millionaire? Okay, so we got some stats here that we're going to be breaking down. We're going to be talking about some different stats. This is not who makes $100,000. This is actually who is actually a millionaire. Okay, who has basically seven figures. So this is basically a seven-figure conversation. So if you think so, statistically, less than 10% of people make over $100,000. That's just $100,000. Okay, just think about that for a second. As far as black men make that make over $100,000 a year, about less than 4% of black men make over $100,000 a year, and that's just $100,000 a year. So as you can imagine, the stats as far as being a who makes $1 million plus, um, as far as when it goes to culturally, um, it's way less than that. So yeah, it's going into like the 0.001 statistic. Like you to break down the stats, you have to go into fractions. Okay, you have to go in actual decimal places. And I'm going to talk about my my viewpoints on why that is. Also, if you have not purchased my book, Millionaire Savings Plan, it's available on Amazon as well as BrokeGeniuses.com. Definitely suggest you check that book out. Reason being is, if you have a problem saving money, you you work and you don't realize, like, you can't figure out why you're not, coming up in the world, and you make a decent amount of money, and you're just kind of standing still in life financially. This book, if you follow the tenets of it, it will help you make headway. I'm a living testament to that. It is a very, very good book. Um, I just had like a flash bulb moment in my head, and it's like, not to really go dark, but just to mention briefly, I kind of like want to think, like, do some research on how many authors like sell books after they die, like as far as Like some authors, I've heard this, they actually, when they were alive, there it's kind of like art. A lot of people that are into art, they know about this as well. So when some artists, when they were alive, they were struggling. They couldn't hardly barely sell any of their art. But then when they died, their art was just selling through the roof, and then a lot of their art pieces became extremely valuable because they're no longer able to produce art. So it becomes a rare, piece of art. And something similar to that, I think, is like with some authors. Some authors, I don't know how to break that down as far as how many authors have had this be a reality, but you got to understand there's some authors that when they were alive, their book was not doing well. And then after they died, for whatever reason, their book just started selling. And then also authors that write books, the book just doesn't really do much. And then boom, all of a sudden they, selling a lot of books. The Atkins diet is one of those cases. Uh, all of a sudden, the guy that wrote the Atkins diet, he just got a whole bunch of sales because people started to start this new diet, and this book was associated with that diet. And it was an after fact type of thing. Like it took him a long time to sell those books. But um yeah, it is definitely a good read, definitely a good life-changing book. Also is a combination of things. It's a financial plan, it's a savings challenge, and it's also a plan for you to actually become a millionaire. So how it works basically is it's 11 steps to become a millionaire. And basically, once you get to that 11th step, you become a millionaire. And you can start however you are, however much money you actually have as far as savings. And you can just kind of start wherever you are at. Some people might not have $1,000 saved. This book is excellent for people like that because it actually will help you. Because if you've never, like, I think statistically, they say less than 40% of individuals in America have they don't have $1,000 in emergency fund at their disposal in case of an emergency. So a person like that, this book will help substantially because that's the first step on the Millionaire Savings Plan. You save $1,000. There's prerequisites for that. I got a video talking about that. The prerequisites to become ready to start the savings plan. Definitely need to have your bills in order. You need to have some type of if you got debts, you got to come up with some type of plan, a monthly plan to pay those off. And also make sure you are well stocked with basic necessities. That'll be food, things that you need for your household, things for your children, stuff like that. And then you could go right into this savings challenge. Now, with that being said, we're going to, like I said, talk about how hard it is to become a millionaire. A lot of people sell. You get this on social media. You get this this thing with these reality shows. They're broadcasting other people, even individually, are broadcasting that it's just nothing to be a millionaire. It's $1 million is nothing. It's no big deal. Like you could become a millionaire. It's no big deal. It's easy. Blah blah blah. You know, If that was the case, one of the things that I love about stats is stats tell the truth, whereas others may be telling lies. When you look at the stats tell the truth. So people are saying, oh, it's so easy to become rich, it's so easy to become a millionaire. The stats tell something totally different. Actually, like I said before, the stats on $100,000 earners, I mean, basically, less than 10% of individuals make $100,000 a year. And that's across cultural. That's all races. When it come down to blacks, less than 4% make over $100,000 a year. So if you think that, and the whole people are saying, "Oh, you could become a millionaire. A millionaire is no big deal," then the stats would say probably that 20%, of people, or 30%, let's just say, are millionaires or whatever, stats wise. But the stats say something totally different. And hopefully today we will both understand how hard it is to become a millionaire in America. It is not easy. Um, a lot of times I'm reminded of that. This is a stat that I just recently learned this year. It's one of the major stats that I learned this year. 70% of all millionaires are married. Okay, so that's one stat that I do know, and it's kind of mind blowing. But the reason why you probably you think that becoming a millionaire is easy is because there's actually two types of millionaires. Okay, the first millionaire that you see, that we see, these are entertainers. They're celebrities, basketball, players, football players, baseball players, soccer players, whatever, boxers, whatever. Okay, these are what I'll call instant millionaires. Okay, these are instant millionaires. Okay, they were born, they were, 6 foot, 5, the freshman year in high school. Okay, they played basketball, varsity basketball for the high school team freshman year. Okay, they were born with a lot of height. Freshman year they were playing varsity basketball. And actually, I'm gonna tell you a true story. I don't know him, but I played basketball with him, as far as like I've seen him in person and everything like that. And like Eddie Curry. Eddie Curry, I'm gonna tell you some mind blowing stuff about Eddie Curry. I was um I was like a junior in high school. I was just at the park playing basketball, and this just tall, just almost like a freak of nature dude, young dude, came to the park. He was with his dad. I think it was his dad. And Eddie Curry was going to his freshman year of high school. He was in eighth grade. He just graduated eighth grade. He was about 6'9". A eighth grader that was 6'9" I mean 6'9" as far as height. I'm at a park in Dalton, Illinois, right off 142nd. What's going on, Alonzo? Salute, salute. And this is 1996, or it might have been 97. Eddie Curry's eighth grade. Okay, in case you probably really young or you don't really follow basketball. Eddie Curry played center. He was one of the last basketball players that came right from high school right to the NBA. He went into the NBA, I think, like 2002. Um, he basically didn't go to college. He went straight to the NBA. Everybody knew he was going to do that. His eighth grade year, the scouts was. He said when he was at the park, he already had a Nike shoe deal in the eighth grade. This is common. This is normal now, but back then, that was not normal. Eddie Curry's family background, basically working class. His parents was working class. Okay, 6'9". I mean, just looked like a alien. I mean, to be in eighth grade and already you're 6'9", you're going into your freshman year. Of course, he went to Thornwood High School, which is the neighboring high school from where I went, which was Thornridge, and he played varsity his freshman year in high school. Even that's not normal. Like, and it's unless you're not like, okay, Illinois, New York, where Alonzo even California, Los Angeles. These are basketball cities, or you could say basketball powerhouses, where basketball is very, very competitive. For you to be in high school to play varsity basketball your freshman year in high school was a big deal. Okay, I'm sure still a big deal now. And he had the height. He was probably at 6'9". He was taller than a lot of the other. Thornwood had some tall dudes in that school, man. They had some tricks, they had some tall dudes, man, that walking around in that school. They didn't even play basketball, but I mean, like by the time his senior year, he was already 7 feet. He already knew he was going to the pros. He went to the Bulls. He probably most likely already worked that deal out that he wanted to go to the Bulls. But what I'm saying is he was an instant millionaire. Like most of the people that you know that are millionaires, this is why you think it's so easy. They're instant millionaires. They didn't just, go to finance school, read a bunch of books, invested, diversified their portfolio, bought some, whole life insurance from Alonzo, and made $1 million. No, they instantly I'm talking about Eddie Curry was from basically a working class, middle class. You can even say lower middle class environment, suburban environment. Before he ever even, let's be honest, he'll probably even tell you, before he even got drafted to the Bulls, he got money from various endorsements, various agents, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into his story in depth. It's in the 30 for 30 ESPN. But he instantly got that money. He didn't have, and what happens a lot of times is with instant millionaires, they don't have the financial knowledge to actually make that money outside of wherever they got the millions from, whether it be a rapper, whether it be a basketball player, football player, baseball player, whatever. They usually, a lot of times, after their career is over with, they got to go back to a 9-to-5 job, or some of them are lucky and they can become announcers or something like that. Podcasting is becoming something that they found their way in as well, but most of them don't make the same amount of money that they did from their career as an NBA. Very few. For every Magic Johnson and other NBA players that have made money outside of basketball, Most of them don't. Most of them have to actually file bankruptcy 4 to 5 years after playing basketball, or I mean, after basically retiring from the sport. It's a raw deal because they don't know one how to make $1 million on their own, and the way they made their money, if they're no longer to able to play, it's it. That money is gone, and they know this. A lot of it is very kind of depressing because it's like it's kind of like, this is what I thought about. You're being on a mountain and you saw over the mountain. A lot of people don't see over the mountain. People don't become millionaires. I mean, I'm gonna break the stats down, but a lot of people don't become millionaires. People live and die and don't become millionaires. Okay. So to be all the way up on that high mountain, it's a big fall down below, right? Or big drop down below. So it's kind of it's kind of depressing, man, to see these guys. They have a lot of stories about them getting duped, them getting scammed, them blowing their money and stuff like that. It's because, right, the average pro, I read that as well. The average pro athlete is about 3 to 4 years. Especially football. Football is very, very rough. And they do not last that long in the NFL. It's literally a lot of them are like crash test dummies. You can get injured off of a blown play and break your leg, or have a concussion or something like that. But yeah, a lot of these guys, and a lot of this, you see this in entertainment, is they become instantly a millionaire. They sign that contract. Summer Walker signed and Summer Walker is an excellent singer, an excellent R&B singer. I mean, she's like, one of the things I like about Summer Walker is that she kind of like, this is how you can tell a good artist, right? They have fans across the class system, whether it be high class people to low class people. Because she just, I don't know. I mean, obviously they have producers that bring that out of them, give them some good song quality and writers and stuff like that. But I like Summer Walker. Summer Walker basically signed a record deal. I think Summer Walker was working at a bar, working at Walmart or something. I don't know. Signed a deal where she gave up most, if not all, of her recording royalties for like $50,000. She was broke. She was broke as fuck. I think she already had a kid at the time. I'm not sure. She was like broke as fuck. Like most artists, most people that become instant millionaires, that's another thing. Most of them was broke as hell before they got the $1 million. You and me know Summer Walker, she was worth, even before signing that deal, she should have signed no less than $5 million. But she was so broke, she was struggling so bad, that 50,000 was everything to her. Usually the standard, people be wanting $100,000, $1 million. Now, a New York artist, Benny the Butcher, he signed with Mace. I think he signed for like $13,000. And Mace was like, I don't care. That's that money. I need that. You needed that money at the time. You know how this game go, and Benny, made some pretty good records and stuff like that. And it is what it is. It's like, but the thing is that I mean, I know I'm drifting down as far as the money scale, but the instant millionaires, most of them come from humble beginnings. They don't know anything hardly at all about how to make $1 million outside of basketball or football, baseball, singing, rapping, boxing, whatever they did, soccer, okay, acting. They became instant millionaires by proxy of their skill sets or whatever they do to get on that successful track to sign that contract for that movie deal, that record deal, that basketball NBA contract, NFL contract, MLBPA contract, or soccer club league, whatever the case may be. And then that's it. That's it. They get the money. A lot of times they blow it because they instantly overnight became a millionaire. Okay. Most people that become millionaires, I don't know the percentage as far as, how many millionaires are in entertainment, because that will consider actually it's sports and entertainment. But most people do not make millions of dollars by becoming instant millionaires. That's something people dream of, right? That's people go to California to be an actor or actress because they want to become that instant millionaire, that lottery ticket. They want that. They want to start off small and work their way up big. But most people, that's not how they make their money. Even myself, that's not. If I'm, it's not going to be my ticket to become an instant millionaire. Most people, I would say, are this. They are opposite of instant. They are gradual millionaires. They made money gradually. They bought one house. They went through hell, fixed it up. They made $50,000 from it. They took the $50,000. They, bought two houses, and then they just rinsed and repeat. Or, they basically grew their stock portfolio over a 10-year, 15-year period. They bought a combination of real estate, art pieces, whatever the case. And they gradually became a millionaire. That's how most people become a millionaire. People don't have, people are not born 6'9" with a wicked jump shot, be able to slam dunk a basketball. People are not born being able to, hit the A gap hard than the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's not how, how people, what I'm saying, hit, make it in America. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, how much do you weigh?
220.
I weigh 210 and I'm 6'4". You broke the first rule. See, you ladies don't mind breaking the rules. The men are visual. The men want women that are fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive. I don't mind being the size of, I'm sorry, you're 5'8"?
I'm 5'8".
You're about the size of Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders was. You're a running back size.
Okay.
You can hit the A gap like a motherfucker.
Okay. All right. I accept
So don't
that.
come in here and talk about what men should not be able to do when they got to accept somebody who can run out the power I.
Okay.
I mean,
all
I'm being
but
silly.
At the same time, no. A lot of chubby dudes, so.
Yeah. Yeah, not everybody can hit the A gap hard. I played football, man. Tough sport. I mean, you literally after the first like midway through the season, damn near half the team is injured, if not all of the team. You literally playing through injuries towards the middle part of the season, if not even the first couple weeks or week or two. You playing through injuries. your leg, your knee hurting, your shin might be hurting, your elbow. You playing through it, you know. Um, so a lot of people are not, born into, of course, even if you really want to say it, a lot of the athletes, they are they've actually made that money. I mean, became a star athlete by a lot of times starting out when they were young. They start out in pee wee football, then they work their way up to regular, grammar school football, and then got into high school, and then went to college. It's not like they just came out their mama's womb being able to hit the A gap, in the power I, that's just not how that works. Okay. So yeah, that's typically, that's not, people are not athletes and entertainers. It's a lot of money in entertainment, but that's not necessarily the case as far as people are making their money, like I said, instantly. Most people are gradual millionaires. Okay. They're gradual millionaires. They worked over a period of time, months, years, decades, if not even half their life. Because one of the things about millionaires, the average millionaire is basically a old man. The average millionaire is a old person. So I'm gonna break down a few stats, quite a few stats, that some might blow your mind, some may not. You might already know some of these stats as far as millionaires, as far as like what are these stats as far as millionaires? The question is, how hard is it to become a millionaire? Do you think that it's hard to become a millionaire? For one, that's what I want to know. Do you think that it's easy to become a millionaire or hard to become a millionaire? That's what I would like to know from you. I say it's hard. It's not easy. I think that it's things that you have to deal with personally to overcome to become a millionaire. And those things are hard. I think that I think the average person can become a millionaire. I think that you have to overcome quite a few things to become a millionaire. And I'm speaking from myself as well as others. Like, for example, hitting the streets. And when I say hitting the streets, I'm not talking about selling box or selling sex or anything like that. You say it's easy to become, hard to remain. How about, okay, what about legally? Legally to become a millionaire. I'm in Gary or Chicago. I know somebody got the package. I could go get on the package, and risk my entire, being on earth, selling weight. I can go meet with Pablo and them and all that, and you could become a millionaire probably in a month. I mean, how much a key going for? What a key is, what, I don't know, what, 100,000 or 50,000 is a key. You bring you flip, so many keys, boom, there you go, $1 million right there. But I'm saying legally being able to make $1 million. I'm smart too. I'm an IT guy. I can go, okay, I would say being able to what did these guys do? Scamming, doing these scams with these debit cards and cloning cards. You think that's I build computers. I can take a computer apart, put it back together better than it was built from the manufacturer. You think I can't do that shit that they do, cloning cards with a fucking USB card reader, digitizing and all? I can do that shit. I can do worse, actually. And what I mean by that is like, hacking into banking systems and shit like that. If I really wanted to do that, I'm not gonna say I can do that because I'm not that high level. But if I wanted to learn, let's say, you know, I could, but anybody could. But the thing is, I'm saying being able to legally make $1 million, okay, not not going out, selling peen or whatever, going out selling pushing drugs. I mean, drugs is something people gotta have. It's easy to sell, actually, to be honest, it's kind of miserable, but I hate to say it. A lot of times when it comes to black people, because we don't really get supported economically through our businesses, a lot of black business owners, and I'm sure you understand this, Alonzo, we're not as respected in the business world. We don't really get the respect that we give others. People support us. I mean, people don't support us, but we support others. And the only thing that we really do get support from, unfortunately, is selling drugs. I mean, to not go black pill with it, but to go black pill with it. Yeah, a lot of times we only really get fully supported when we doing selling drugs, because the people that buy the drugs, you know, typically I would even say heroin or whatever with, they do fentanyl, they mix it with fentanyl now. They gotta have the drugs, and they don't give a hell if you black. Matter of fact, they prefer you to be black, probably because they don't want to get dimed out by somebody like themselves. But whatever the case may be, we get fully supported from people that are drug addicts, because they don't give a hell about no racism or economic nothing. They want to get high. So black men have, or whatever, black women have drugs, sell drugs, they get fully supported in business. And it's like, damn, you can't buy anything else, but you want me to sell you drugs with no problems. And it's like, yeah, it's fucked up. But yeah, one of the stats here, like I say, over 80% of American millionaires are male. Okay. So that would lead that 20% of American millionaires are female. So this is one of the stats that you probably didn't know. Probably didn't know 80% of all American millionaires are male. So that's interesting. Okay. So maybe you shouldn't, you guys that are out robbing, robbing women, should stop robbing women. you the stats says that you should probably be robbing men. Okay. This is what I'm saying. Like, okay. But a lot of times women are robbed because they're easier victims. Okay. He said of that 20%, how many only identify as women? Yeah. that's true. I don't, I identify. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a question. Yeah, that you gotta ponder that. Like, You out, okay, I mean, like I say, the reason why women are typically robbed because they're a easier threat, right? A men put up a confrontation, a serious confrontation. It might even cost you your life, right? So men typically are not robbed, right? Women typically are robbed, are targets of robberies, you know. So with that said, you know, it kind of questions the whole smash the patriarchy type thing, right? Um, maybe this is what those feminists are that they mean, smash the patriarchy because 80% of all American millionaires are male. Here's another thing. 76% of millionaires in the US are white. Okay. All right. All right. So, yeah, I'm not surprised there. Are you surprised? are you are you are you surprised? Um yeah. Uh what's new? So how's the weather? Um Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Now, here's the thing, right? This is why I don't really listen to the Grant Cardones and the, other guys, because see, here's the thing, and I talked about this before. I talked about white privilege. This white privilege right here. It's white privilege. Like, I mean, if you have that privilege, you have a basically a head start type of thing. You have it easier than what I have. Unfortunately, me going in a bank trying to get a loan, trying to get opportunities, financial opportunities, I'm looked at as a threat. You being a white male, you're not. So when I look at, you talking about, oh, you should do this and you should do that and all. Well, I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but you can do it easier because they're not going to call the police on you. They're going to probably call the police on me. You can walk in certain areas and not have that much, defenses where I might have, some issues with getting those opportunities. Okay. And this is why a lot of times, be honest, I look for advice. A lot of times when I look for advice, I'm looking for, a brother, let's quote unquote, giving that advice. Because I know this dude had to hustle to get whatever he's saying, if he's not full of shit, he had to go through. He legitimately did that shit. He went through a whole bunch of days driving around, probably getting pulled over or about to get pulled over. You know how when police get behind your car and then they reading your plates to see if you legit or not, you're seeing who you are. He done went through all kind of shit like that, all kind of problems. So yeah, a lot of times, yeah, I do that. That doesn't necessarily make me racist. It just makes me understand reality. This is reality. Okay, we talk about how hard it is to become a millionaire. Well, there you go. 70% of all millionaires in the United States are white. It's not surprising. Okay, they work hard for it. Their ancestors killed a lot of people. They went through a lot of hardship, to get that, wealth and opportunity. Okay, they went through quite a bit to get to where they are today. They didn't have to, they They went through the fire. Okay. So 8% of millionaires in the US are black. 8% of millionaires in the US are black. 8%. So the question is, how many millionaires? The question for this is, the math equation to this is, what is the percentage of millionaires that are men versus women? I will say wholeheartedly that the statistic of 80% of the American millionaires being male, out of these millionaires of the 8%, most of this 8% is black men. Okay, most of the, and it's like, yeah, it goes to the whole, oh, we so dusty and shit like that. That's not the case, because most black men are as far as in the millionaire class, most of them are black men. Black women actually are the ones that are broke and dusty and all of that type of stuff, because this is where stats come into play. Now, the thing is black men don't talk like that. Some of us do. We will take in a dusty female, clean her up, give her a bath, give her some fragrance, give her some soap, give her some, give her a nice little body oil massage, put her in a bed, and then obviously, pump her up. Men, we pump women up, literally and figuratively, and that's what we do. We don't have a problem doing that. Okay. We don't have a problem pumping women up, upgrading women up. Women actually, they actually get women come up a lot of time off of men. Okay, that's how women come up. That's why women a lot of times talk about things in the sense, as far as they talk about a lot of what they want and what they desire. But a lot of times, this is where women a lot of black women talk about hypergamy. But unfortunately, black women do not practice. They don't know how to practice hypergamy. What do I mean by that? They don't know how to actually attain a man of high earnings, of high net worth. They don't know how to. They might be able to have, and this kind of mirrors what Kevin Samuel said. They might be able to basically have sex with these men, but they don't necessarily know how to have a long-term relationship, if not marriage, with these men in many regards, because the reason is that this is why. One of the reasons is that, in my opinion, they this is what a lot of times what white women do that black women don't. White women have a head start with this, going back to before the Victorian era to now, where a lot of times what white women do is that they get the man of means first at all costs, and then they might cheat with the man without means, on the side. What a lot of times what I see black women do is, even though they'll complain about the man without means, they will get the man without means. And this is what I was saying in my other video, as far as how women make versus how men make. Basically, they'll get the man without means first because he looks good and he, got swag and $1 million worth of game, whatever. They'll get the man without means first, and then complain after that failed relationship, and then try to get the man with means after they already have children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of times, obviously, unless you're a simp, which a lot of us were, whatever, you're not gonna get a woman that's already had kids with some dude or whatever that without basically a woman that already had kids by a man with no means. And when I say means, I mean money, without being able to sustain those children financially, put her in a financial threshold to where she don't really have to work and have to struggle. That's what I mean by man of means. Now, like I said, that's a raw deal, and that's literally why Kevin Samuels blew up, because you basically had a lot of black women primarily call his show, go on his show. They looking to get the man with means after after they done already blew it open for the man without means. And Kevin, like, what the hell? Don't know. Okay, what he said, high value man want no, leftovers from some, bum that you've been dealing with, and the children that go with it. And I hate to sound cruel or elitist about it, but yeah, what's going on, man? I mean, that's literally what happens. Now, like I say, not to, gotta understand. You gotta understand, like, black women, what else can they do? Black people as a whole, we've only basically come out of poverty, because most black people primarily were in a lower class. We came from the deep south to the slums and the ghettos of the inner city, Chicago, New York, different parts of the country. That was like from the early 1900s to like around 1960. Black people in mass didn't start really making any money in mass like till like the 70s, basically late 70s, early 80s to now. So, like I said, white families, white traditions and customs and courtship, they have like 100, 150, 200-year head start in understanding how to date and court and how to, get men. But they're fucking up too, because see, here's the thing. This is what I also said in the last video. The dad had the final say so in the whoever was going to date the daughter. Guess what white women are doing? They're becoming single moms, because they're having households without the father in the household as well. So the father is not deciding who the daughter is going to date. So she's doing the same thing that black women are doing, picking terrible mates and having the consequences from those selections. Because I mean, it's just nature. Like women have balances. It's balances in nature. Basically, a man balances a woman. A woman balances a man. It's like an equilibrium type thing. Without that, things just kind of fall over. And that's what you see in society. But the thing is what I'm saying is that traditionally, that's what happened. Like black women don't, they don't have that advanced 150 year head start that white women have as far as knowing how to choose. But they are also fucking up too. They're doing the same thing that a lot of black women are doing as far as not having a patriarchal figure, father, brother, typically a father, give the final say so on their mate selection. And some of them are choosing well, but most are fucking up. They're choosing bad, and they, sleepless nights, depressions, crying, psychotropic drugs, street drugs, because they feel like a failure because of who they chose, and then they have children and all. So the thing is I'm saying is that basically, that's what a lot of times happen. They're choosing the man without means first, and then after that fucks up, that relationship fucks up, then they trying to get the man with means after the fact. And the man with means, like, man, what? Because you gotta understand. See, here's the thing, right? You gotta understand. See, one of the things I have to say is I do understand the value of money. A lot of times that's going back to the gradual millionaire versus the instant millionaire. The instant millionaire really don't respect the value of money. They don't. They don't respect the value of money because it was just something that it's like almost like monopoly money. You just get dropped off all of this. You just sign a $100 million contract, $10 million, whatever. You get this instant money. You don't think it's like a fantasy. It's unreal. So you don't value it, right? And the thing is the man, the gradual millionaire that went through the struggle, that slept outside, slept in the car, slept on his friend's couch. He went through some struggle. Not to say that the instant millionaire didn't go through no struggle as well, but he overcame over time. He gradually got to that point where he crossed over $1 million threshold. And he knows the value of money. And the value of money is, this is something that's kind of rare. And it's not even kind of rare, it is rare. And I'm not just going to give you my money without getting the maximum value. Because see, here's the thing when it comes to, a lot of people don't like pimps. But one thing you got to respect a little bit to try to understand, if you don't understand nothing at all from a pimp, is a pimp gets maximum value from a woman. I'll repeat it again. He gets maximum value, meaning he gets the sex and he also gets the money from what the woman makes from giving other sex. Now, that might make him a sleazebag, scumball, slime bag. He is. A pimp's are. But you got to understand that it is women that are doing that and is willing to do that and is willing to even do more, put their life on the line for their man. And, when it comes to you putting up your value, your capital, your resources, and to deal with disrespect, it's like, what? Huh? I mean, and then deal with like the lowest of women when you already have means. You're dealing with a woman that requires more for you than she did the man without means. The man without means, all he had to do was come over. and and he had the same sexual access that you gotta have you gotta have over $100,000 in the house and all that. That's why I didn't make any fucking videos on that dating shit and all of the list and all that. This shit's goofy. It's goofy shit. Okay. And the thing about it is, all of that doesn't really matter because it's like what it is you have a lot of entitled women that they're dealing with a lot of simps. Okay. And they want basically to the simp to pay for the stuff that the man with no means or very little means didn't have to pay for. All the man with no means or little means had to come over with some dank weed, some Hennessy, maybe a bag of chicken, and he's getting the same sexual access that the man that is required to have $100,000 a year job, a house, you picket fence, garage, and two cars or at least a car or whatever. And the guy with no means and he had no car. His homie dropped him off. I mean, so it's like, the thing is it's just when you understand the value of, okay, I've sacrificed, I went through the fire to get to where I got, to quote, Kevin Gates, I went through the fire to get where I got. And, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not giving you nothing. I got some, if I'll give you exactly what that man with no means gave you. I got, instead of the dank weed, I got some fresh weed. Okay. And then I got, instead of the black Hennessy, I do have Hennessy white. Okay. And instead of the bag chicken, I got maybe I got some gourmet chicken. That's the best I can do. But I'm not about to give you more than what that you required from the man with no means, aka hood Pookie, with dank weed and a bag of chicken, in a chicken box, with fries and a biscuit, in a soda or pop, depending on what part of the country you are in. No, I mean that just I won't do it, but I know a lot of people will, but I'm not. But yeah, that's the stat. 8% of millionaires in the U.S. are black. 76% of millionaires in the USA are white. Okay, and just in case, I'm just for transparency, I'm going to put some of these articles that I'm reading to you in the chat, just in case you just I don't want to come off like I'm just spewing stats off the side of my neck. No, I don't do that here. You know what I'm saying? These are all, I'm reading these stats straight from various articles online. And basically 8%. So this is they say black people make up 14% of the population, and 8% of millionaires are Asian. Okay, is kind of on the neck and neck of black millionaires. Okay, but see, here's the thing about Asians: they're 8% of millionaires, but they only make up 6% of the population. Black people make up 14% of the population. And I don't know, maybe this has something to do with the resentment of like the Asian hate and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, they only make up 6% of the population, but basically they are 8% of millionaires. And lastly, 7% of millionaires are Hispanic and Latino, and Hispanic and Latinos make up 19% of the U.S. population. Okay, so that is by race. Okay, in the United States. Okay. And this is another stat for all you people. You know, I'm not against going to college. Okay, I'm not against it. Okay, um, not at all, not at all. Because this is one of the reasons why I'll say that I'm not against it. You can learn some things in college. Can learn. And majority of millionaires in the US, 88%, have a college degree. I ain't make this shit up. This is the stats. You know, 2/3 of millionaires graduated from a public university. I mean, it is what it is, man. So it's like if you don't have that, it's like the odds are against you. I'm saying these things to show this is what you probably need to do. You know, if you want to become a millionaire, it's a lot of things that you will have to do. Probably, you know, as far as the stats, you probably gonna have to get married. Obviously, to somebody that's gonna help you. Hopefully, not a subprime woman. Okay, you probably do need a degree because see, here's the thing, right? There's still jobs that require you to have like a bachelor's or master's degree, even master's degrees. It's some jobs that's like, yeah, six-figure jobs. They want you to have a master's degree. If you don't have a master's degree, I'm not saying that you couldn't get the job, but the person that has a master's degree probably most likely will get the job because they require what? A master's degree. And you don't have said master's degree. So that's kind of, like one of the things that I kind of knew as well. I was like, oh, okay. So, this is something that's related to um as far as like you becoming a millionaire. These are some of the stats associated with that. Let me see here. So that's saying that basically only 12% of millionaires do not have a college degree. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you got an 18, statistically speaking, you have an 18% chance if you don't have a college degree to become a millionaire. This is another one, and it's along with the degree aspect. Go even deeper with it. 52% of millionaires have earned a master's or doctorate degree. So half of the millionaires have either a master's or a doctorate degree. And here's the thing, right? If you do, depending on where you live in the country, if you do make, let's say you make $145,000 a year. Got my calculator here. That's enough money in the Midwest. I'm just speaking in the Midwest. That's all I know for the most part. That's enough money that you can have your own house. You can have whatever. You can have a mortgage or whatever, not decent house. And that's enough money that you could fund a business on the side. Or invest in real estate on the side. Because let's break this down by a month. You're making $12,000 a month. And, some of those jobs do require you to have a master's degree. A lawyer has a doctorate degree. A lot of lawyers have Juris Doctorate degrees. Some lawyers make partners, some of them, a lot of them make six figures. $12,000 a month. Your mortgage is $1,500. You still got over $10,000 left. So in essence, to run a business, right? You can have a convenient. Let's just say you can run a convenience store. It won't only cost like a couple grand a month to run a convenience store. And then you can have multiple mortgages. You can have like rental income, meaning you can have like 2 or 3 more properties. You can have a building, a 6-unit building. Your mortgage will be like $3 grand a month, probably. So I'm saying, like, basically, I mean, you can literally just apply yourself, and if you make over 6 figures and you got that degree, and let's say you're I got a cousin that's a therapist. He's got his doctorate. You can apply that money to other things, and I'm not going to say easily make more money, but you can make more money with that than the average earner that may make only like 4 to 5 grand a month. You're making over, 10 grand a month. You can plug that in, to where you got a property you got a couple properties, and you got rental income from that. You can even flip properties. You can easily flip properties with 10 grand, 12 grand income a month. I can definitely say that, because I'm not gonna say you can just, fund the whole project in a month, but the average house, okay, let's say if you can get the capital, the average house to fix it up is between $30,000 to $60,000. You get paid over $12,000 a month. You can technically fix that property up within 1 to 2 years without even having to use other capital. But most people even just use private funding, so they're not even touching their money. But let's say something happened and you needed to use your own money. You can use your own money because you got it, literally. And if you like I do, you keep your expenses leveled to where it's not because you make $10,000 now. Oh man, I got enough money to get me a Rolls Royce. I got enough money to get me a Lamborghini, and you get that Lamborghini car note, and it's like $3,000 a month. No, you don't do that. You live. You still got your regular car. You can get you a little Benz or BMW, whatever. That's fine. But you don't overdo it. You keep your budget very same budget, very similar when you were like making $50,000 a year, whatever, or wasn't making as much money as you are now. And then you just basically plug that money in when you got it to basically your businesses. You basically invest that money. And then within like 10 years, yeah, you become a millionaire. And you're working, you're a professor at a college, you're a lawyer, or you're a psychologist. So that's how that works. $100,000 a year is every 10 years is $1 million. It's just 10 years. Boom. You just work 10 million bucks. Boom. So it's like when and even I said this in my book, the more money you make, the more easier it is to become a millionaire. It's fucking basically second grade logic. The more you have, the more easier it is to make X. Okay. So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's that makes sense. So where the most millionaires are, they're saying, is in New Jersey. New Jersey has the highest ratio of millionaire households in the United States. But you know what? Here's the thing, right? And a lot of times I get this from people that's from New York. A lot of people live in New Jersey that work in New York. New York has a lot of high paying salaries. A lot of those companies, they have to pay that for reasons of competition, as far as and reasons because of cost of living. So you got people that live in New Jersey and then they work in New York, and they bring that money to New Jersey, and then they're a millionaire in New Jersey. And they go across the bridge or whatever, the tunnel, and then they go back and forth. Yeah. So I mean that's that. I'm not surprised there. Definitely not surprised there. Okay. The most common careers. These are the most common careers of millionaires. Engineer, accountant, manager, teacher, and attorney. Now, obviously, teacher probably stands out to you guys, and it does stand out to me as well. Teacher, because we hear teachers are the least paid and all of that. It's like, how is teachers making money and becoming millionaires? Well, I know a little something about it. My mother was a teacher over 30 years. One way is teachers can become principals. I mean, it's a few ways. I'll break them down to you. A lot of teachers become principals. Principals tend to make over $100,000 a year, depending on what part of the country you are. In Chicago, definitely teachers make over $100,000+ a year. Principals, okay. And another thing, teachers tend to be off over the summer, so they can do other things like sell. A lot of my mother's friends sold real estate. They had a real estate license, so they would sell real estate on the side of being like as a side job between being a teacher. And then some teachers also are professors at universities, so they can moonlight as a professor. So you could be a teacher at a high school, grammar school, and then at night, if you got a master's degree or a doctorate degree, you can go and be a professor at a college. And a lot of the professors at colleges and universities make over six figures as well. That six figures is a big deal. A lot of people probably don't think of it like that, but here you gotta think about it. Let's say you got two jobs. A teacher job, you're making like close to you about 75, 65, 85 a year as a teacher. You work as a professor at the local college or community college, you're making 75, 85 part-time working there. You can even work full-time, make six figures working at the local college, and then you also working at your school. Now you at close to $200,000 a year. Then another thing is if you're married, that's a combined income, and then now you're a household millionaire. So both and your spouse are millionaires. So it's like let's kind of look into this too. Let's look at the household millionaires. I mean, I've already stated that basically 76% of all millionaires are married. Let's kind of see if I can break down the household impact of that as far as millionaires. Okay. So let's I'm gonna share my screen because this is a lot of good information right here. And in order to kind of show this slide here, this is basically a profile of the average millionaire. Owns a home, 94% own a home. Net worth, $1 to $2.5 million, 84%. Single family home, 80%. Married, 76%. Charity participation, 51%. College education, 42%. Owns a business, 22%. Number of children, at least one. Number of properties, 2.4 properties. Average real estate portfolio, 919,000. Average age, 62. This is what I was saying earlier. Most of the millionaires, the average is like they're basically older adults. They're like close to retirement age. So that, I mean, that, there you go. They're actually saying that by gender, 86.5% of millionaires are male, only 13.5% are female. I forgot earlier that basically you got the factor of children also. So it's not split down the middle, as far as like I was saying, 80% of millionaires are men and the rest is women. No, you got the aspect of also children. So, it's only 13% of millionaires that are women. Okay, so there you go. It's very, very interesting information there. And then in 2017, only 29% of Americans expected to become a millionaire in their lifetime. Okay. That's just kind of what people respect. So people, kind of understand it's kind of difficult trying to become a millionaire. It's not easy. I mean, I think it's easy if you probably live in high price markets like New York, LA and stuff. Probably becoming a millionaire, the idea of becoming a millionaire is probably easier than others because I mean it's like not a big deal. If you got $1 million in New York, you probably get a decent apartment and then the first year, you're good. And then like after so many years, you got probably a huge tax bill and, you get swallowed up. But if you got $1 million in Chicago, you're doing good. You're doing excellent. It says most Americans believe that learning to invest is most important step to earning $1 million. Yeah, that's what people think. I'm not really concerned about that. Okay. So more than half of all millionaires live in US or China. Between 2019 and 2020, the US recorded the biggest number of new millionaires. That's why they was calling the pandemic the bandemic, because a lot of people were making money. I mean, I was making money, but it wasn't like I was making like millions of dollars. I didn't, obviously I did. I mean, but I could have. I could have, man. Boy. AMC. All I gotta do is say, really, it's a couple things. AMC, Dogecoin, AMC and Dogecoin. Those are the biggest thing. And GameStop. Yep. Okay. So yeah, that's a lot of interesting data. So here's the thing that I wanted to find out as well. So how many millionaires are there in the US? Okay. And then also, yeah, this is a very good website right here. So these are the two things that I was looking for. So the latest, okay, um the latest American millionaire statistics show that there are 22.46 million people with a net worth of at least $1 million in the United States. Yep. So let's do the math here. First, we gotta understand how many adults. We gotta understand the adults from the children. So how many adults in the US? I know it's the 300 million, but how many adults is in so it's only 258 million adults. Okay. 258 million adults out of that 300 million stat as far as population in the US. So let's see here. Let's do some math here. $258 million divided by 22. Let's just do 22 million. So I got 11, basically 11% of out of all of the population of people in the United States, out of adults in the United States, about 11% is million. That just covers all population. Now here's the thing, right? When it comes to blacks, how many blacks millionaires are there in America? According to Statista, about 8% of US millionaires were African Americans. These figures point to 1.7 million African Americans millionaires in the country. Okay. So, okay, we know the population is about 14 million African Americans in the United States. I'm not even gonna try to find. I'm gonna let all of the kids balance it out. And you know, whatever. 14 million divided by 1.79 million. Okay. So out of that population of black people, it's about 7%. It's a 7% chance. Okay. 7% chance to become a millionaire within that. 11 overall, cumulative as far as all people, and according to the number of millionaires. But if when you break it down amongst black people, it's like 7%. Now, you got to understand as far as when it comes to the stats, when it comes to men and women and all of that, those are all important. Education, being married. That's why I stated all of those stats. Okay. Those are all important. But actually, that math might be a little off. They're saying that um, it's only 1%. It's only 1% overall. It's like 1% of Americans are millionaires. So we can scratch that. So basically, and that makes sense because I'm like 11%. Oh hell no! Because they're saying only 11% make 6 figures or more. So 1% of Americans are millionaires. So that's just overall 1%. So when it comes down to if you break it down by blacks, it's like I said before, it's like 0.0 something. It's in the 0.0. So it's harder to become. I would say it's definitely harder to become a millionaire in a black community than it is in other community. I would say definitely if you're not in the Asian community or white community, definitely it's harder. Um, it's a lot of things. I went through that in other videos. I'm not going to go through that tonight. Um, so what percentage of millionaires are self-made? Fidelity Investments established that 88% of millionaires in the world are self-made. Only 12% of them inherited at least 10% of their wealth. The rest work hard and long to build their fortune. About 79% of the wealthiest Americans, for example, never received any inheritance. I talked about that before, and I did a wealth. Live stream, and I broke that down. So yeah, most if not all, like about 79% of the wealthiest Americans are self-made. There's a few 12% that did receive inheritance. That it was at least 10% of their wealth. Okay. Now I said how many millionaires made their money? Says global millionaire statistics show that the wealthiest people made their wealth by having multiple income streams, salaries, dividends, interests, and capital gains. There are 4 different paths to become a millionaire: saving and investing, building a successful career, becoming famous, and becoming an expert in your field. So yep. There you go. Let me see if it's anything else I want to point out that I think you should know. The misnomer about you need an Ivy League education. That's not necessarily true. I stated that earlier. Nearly 2/3 of millionaires went to basically public and state institutions. Okay. I said that this is right here. This is the stat right here that I put it there. But let me put this here. To state it again. Nearly 2/3 of American millionaires went to public or state schools. 2/3. So let's see what else you should probably need to know. Da, 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 da. I think that's about it. A lot of things that you probably didn't know that you'll take away from this live stream. Hopefully, you are definitely more educated as far as the things that you didn't know about how hard it is to become a millionaire or not. Like I say, this is definitely something that I'm working on myself. And if you want to work on it with me, I would suggest you once again purchase my book, Millionaire Savings Plan, available Amazon, paperback, Kindle version, also brokegeniuses.com. And if you get your copy from me from brokegeniuses.com, you get a paperback. I basically give you a signed autograph book in the mail, and there you go. You can get a signed autograph copy paperback for your reading pleasure. Okay. The thing is that when you have people come to you, you should really question. Let me see here. You should really question people that basically come off like being a millionaire is easy. You should really question, is this person trying to scam me or not? Because the stats, again, 1% of Americans are millionaires. So out of 100 people in the room, one of those persons might be a millionaire. That's how difficult it is. And if you really think about it, if everybody was millionaires, or a lot of people was millionaires, nobody would hardly work. It would be a hard time finding. I'm talking about not this shit. Like, I can't find nobody to be a dishwasher or work at, Five Guys or the local Subway. I mean, like, they wouldn't find hardly anybody. Like, because a lot of people will be rich. Like, that's like some nations like Qatar, they have it where a lot of people have to work because it's kind of like community service because they're rich already. They've got a lot of oil revenue, and they give a lot of that oil revenue to the citizens of that country. A lot of them are rich. They work as far as a community service. That's like the utopian model for capitalism. Like that everybody, a lot of people are rich and they just work for community service. They do their they do their work because it's a part of their civic duty. Unfortunately, in America, let me break down something for you that I haven't done in a while. There's well, it's something called wealth inequality. Okay, this is why this is so difficult as far as to become um a millionaire. I do believe that is hope. I do believe in hope. Some people call it hopeism and all of that. Like I do believe that there's something on the horizon. And I'll just say it like this, like basically I do think some of the wealth will be redistributed because a lot of wealthy, basically, I'll just say in short, a lot of the wealthy people are dying. Okay, and their children are not going to be, if they do pass on some of that wealth, they will not be transitioning with that wealth. They're going to blow that wealth, and that wealth is going to go to somebody else. Okay, that's kind of like how I look at it from a perspective of a lot of people that and basically here's another thing. I'm gonna let's talk about this. Um, let's talk about this. So this is something that you probably don't know about inheritance. Okay, and this is something from my research a while back. I found out. So even with people getting inheritance, it's something kind of mind blowing when it comes to that I found out. Let's see here. I just saw it earlier. Let's see if I can find that. Let's see if that's it. No, that's not it. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, here it is. Yep, this is it here. So even when a lot of people get inheritance, 1 in 3 Americans will blow their inheritance. 1 in 3. So a lot of times you hear about the story about people they get their mom or grandma passed, and then the family just basically sells the house. They sell the family house. And that that happens quite a bit. A lot of people, and it kind of goes back to this here: instant millionaires versus gradual millionaires. Instant millionaires get a whole bunch of money. What? Go buy cars, clothes, jewelry, um, vacations. They want to look rich. Okay. And that's kind of very typical to why a lot of people blow, even if they get the inheritance. Statistically speaking, 1 in 3 blow their inheritance. So it's very, very important for you to teach your children financial education, and how to control their emotions, you know, um, because a lot of this is mental. This is a mental warfare. It's mental, it's spiritual, mind, body, and soul. Um, a lot of it is like, are you able to get a good night's sleep every night? And a lot of that has to, to maintain that mental focus, so you can continue on your goals, continue on your path towards success, overcome any hurdles that come across. A lot of that, you have to have a foundation, like a core of your mind, your body, your soul has to have some equilibrium to that. And if you don't, teach your children to control themselves and have some type of control over their life, you've seen it, you've been through it, and life is tough, So a lot of times, yeah, people blow just kind of like the $1 million uh you know professional athlete. They blow their money, they blow that inheritance when they get it, um yeah, that's what I have. If you guys want to talk about this, I got a little time. I'm up late. I had a little nap earlier. I was going to see my children. Went to a toy convention. Um, Came back, took a nap, uh, and yeah, I mean, just came back from the store. Actually, went to Walmart to get some items, and I just thought about it. I'm like, okay, you know, it's hard. It's not easy to become a millionaire to me. I was driving, I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's not easy to become a millionaire. Why do people like, people try to, they run these ads. You even see YouTube ads. You want to be a millionaire, click this, you know, watch the whole video. And it's like, at the end of the day, this is the actual reality of how hard it is to become a millionaire. And again, when you go, unfortunately, I'm black, in this time and state and time, right? Um, so this statistic is not even for me. It's actually worse when you break down. I might do a video on actual $1 million statistics. I might even try to even get a millionaire to, black millionaire to, come on to talk about it, because when it comes down to it, once you go to breaking down, okay, obviously, if this 1%, when it comes to the black community, unfortunately, the stats go down when it comes to breaking down the stats with us. So this percentage is hard to look at, as far as it's rare. But when it comes to the black statistics, it's even more rare. So it's very, very difficult. Um, I don't want to come across it all to be like, oh, it's easy. If you're committing any kind of illegal act, and I'm not judging anybody, I'm not an angel of myself, and it's like, yeah, I obviously I know it could be easier, right? But to be legal beagle and try to do this the clean way, even if you go dirty and you go clean, like, this is not easy to become a millionaire. Like, it's in this country, I would say it is versus other countries. But I was actually going to break down the wealth inequality. I am so I almost lost my train of thought completely. I was actually going to break down the wealth inequality, and yeah, I damn near almost forgot about that shit. So, and that happens when I live stream. I'm not the only one that's happened to, but I gotta find one that's very it's more simplified and it kind of breaks things down. Um, let me see if I can find like a short video to explain myself. Um, let me see here. We're homeless by choice. That's crazy. Okay. Let's see shorts. Let's see if we can. Wealth inequality. Okay. I think this is probably yeah. This is Richard Wolf, so I can verify that. Yeah, it's probably decent. Okay, so let me watch this one here. All right.
The richest 62 people in the world together own more wealth than the bottom half of this planet's population, roughly 3.5 billion people. The richest 62 people in the world together own more wealth than the bottom half of this planet's population, roughly 3.5 billion people. The richest.
All right, that was kind of too short. I was looking for something a little bit more longer than that to kind of explain it, but yeah, that is something to as far as as well as truth is in that. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Let's see here. All right, let's check this out. Let's see what this is about here. Let's see if this is about what this is about.
There's a chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. A Harvard business professor and economist asked more than 5,000 Americans how they thought wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was. Dividing the country into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom, and middle 20% groups, they asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. There's a chart I saw recently that I can't.
Yeah, these are like way too short. Let's see if I can find something under 4 minutes that can break down this. All right, let's check this out here.
Here is the actual distribution of wealth in America. The poor.
Woo! That is what I was like. This chart here, I ain't gonna say I have nightmares about this chart, but I think about this chart here. So this chart, I've seen this chart before. So this is like, the average everyday person down here. And then you got the wealthy, the uber wealthy is like off the charts. It's so high they can't even fit it in the actual chart. That's how high it is. It's like off the charts. Like the extremely super wealthy, like is off the charts.
Poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change. And the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. So you got people that actually like, this is the tripped out thing, right? This is the tripped out thing about this, right? You know how people act like people, you know how a lot of times, you probably even guilty of this. You in the middle class, like you got a job, you got a career, you got a house, you got a car, you know, 1 or 2 car garage. You're okay, right? But then you look down on people that's poor as if you're way above them. And I'm like, hello, anybody home? No, no, you are not nowhere near above them. Okay, you're like a check. Wait, like 2 checks or 4 checks at the most away from being a poor person with nowhere to go. Uh, Basically hoping and begging for the kindness of family members and friends and strangers for help. And it's like, yeah, it's like mind blowing to think how people are. Their mind is that they're so much better off than the average person just because they just have like a middle class life. It's just mind blowing. And it's like you're like literally about 2 to 4 paychecks away from being just like the poorest person you probably looking at on the street that you feel bad about.
10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale. And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show.
The fact of inequality is something we've become increasingly aware of here in 2012 in the United States. But to kind of open the debate, to kind of get started, I'll start with Professor Horwitz and ask, assuming the fact of inequality, what exactly is the problem of inequality?
Well, I think there's a couple things to talk about here. One is we should ask whether that concern that we see in that video about inequality is the real issue. Whenever we talk about inequality, I think we have to also talk about income mobility. When we look at these static snapshots of what percent of wealth or income is controlled by 1% or the bottom 20% in one year versus another year, we have to remember it's not the same people in each year who are rich and poor. And one of the most important questions for me is how easy is it or how difficult is it for folks who start off poor to no longer be poor after 5 years or 10 years or 15 years? That kind of data we just saw tells us nothing about that. And I think the data on income mobility suggests that the poor in any one year, the majority of them have a good opportunity to be out of poverty within a reasonable number of years. So as we talk about these issues today, I hope that's something that we explore.
All right. Well, I mean that's fair. That definitely, that chart is something that I saw before. But I mean, there you have it. I mean, like the income or wealth inequality alone is like mind blowing. Alone, like I to think about is like depressing to a certain degree. It goes really, really dark when you start to break down the wealth inequality. It's almost inconceivable, and that alone, and I'm aware of that, and that also helps me understand. It's not necessarily easy to become a millionaire. Now, I'm not gonna say you can't become a millionaire. You can. A lot of things is like you have to personally overcome. Like let me go back to the streets example. You can literally buy, like, you can get stuff, merchandise, and go sell it on the streets, and bring back all of that cash. You can have like a little cash out, you use Cashapp. A lot of times people use Cashapp and stuff. I even have Like I have one of those square readers, so you can process credit cards. You put it in a phone jack, and then you can process credit cards. But see, here's the thing. Like, I think I have because I have an iPhone that wouldn't necessarily work with an iPhone. So, but the thing is that they probably have Bluetooth readers or something now. But the thing is you hit the streets and you sell things, you can actually make money, like, outside of your job, like you could do DoorDash, whatever. I mean, that income to come up, to use to try to put it all together, to try to invest in something to make more money, sell t-shirts like this right here. This is something that I sell on my website, brokegeniuses.com. This is one of the t-shirts that I sell. I mean, you literally have to hustle to kind of make ground. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as seeing that scale, I can, like, actually let me find that actual scale model again, just to kind of show you, what you're dealing with. Yeah, this is it right here. So I mean, it's just absolutely off the chain. When you look at this model, it is like crazy, because this is like okay, this is what you think the wealth inequality is in America. This is what you think it is. Like right here, you think it's this, but actually, it's like this. The very wealthy, that second part that's like next to the chart, it's so high up, and then it's like cut into thirds, because basically it's so high off the chart that they had to cut it down and show you how much off the chart it actually is, as far as the actual distribution of wealth in the United States. Like, that's why it is very, very difficult to become wealthy, like from going zero to like basically it's the highest of the elites. Some people believe in like these like secret gatekeepers, and I mean, I think they do have that. I do think that they have that, but it ain't no necessarily somebody to stop you. I do think that they can, look at you, put on a lens and stuff, like the FBI can investigate you. I do believe stuff like that, the IRS but they can't necessarily stop you from going out and trying to become wealthy or rich. I mean, nobody literally can, besides, whatever, opposition you have as far as doing that. But I don't think that per se the gatekeeping aspect is stopping you. A lot of times I'm gonna show you what a lot of times what kills people. Basically destroys a lot of people. I'm gonna show you another picture. And this is actually a wealth killer right here. This is what kills a lot of people. Opportunity to rise above. And this is from a dude that he's a real estate investor. Let me get this here. So, yeah, his name is Henry Washington. Okay, so this is what really. I'm not saying this has an impact to this. I'm not saying this is like. I'll show you how in relation to this chart what this is that I'm going to show you next, like how this relates to this. So this is typically what people do to kill themselves. And I used to live like this. I used to do this. I used to follow this model. Okay. Get the college education, Okay, student loans. We all know about the student loans and shit. You know, we know about that. I mean, we know about that well. If you follow me from this channel, you know all about that. So this is what makes you be the perpetual, basically middle class hamster wheel slave. This is why I do what I do, okay, you can say is extreme savings. I do certain measures that will put me in the category of someone that's an extreme saver. Okay, the things that I do to save money, such as live in an abandoned house and fix it up. That's extreme. That's extreme, right? So there's certain things I do just because I don't want to do what? Go out and get a, expensive house and a high mortgage. But this is what typically I'm gonna run down this list, and this is what kills a lot of people from actually like rising above. I'm not gonna say all the way up to the top, but I'm just saying rising above. Okay, college, okay, 80,000, whatever, that college debt that comes with that. Wedding, I hear from time to time people complaining about weddings, wanting an expensive wedding. A lot of times women want expensive weddings and stuff like that. I heard somebody say that their father decided not to pay for the expensive wedding or whatever. They wanted I think they wanted $50,000 or something like that, and the dad said no or whatever. And then the bride did not talk to her father for like a long time because he didn't pay for her expensive wedding. A wedding is literally one night. And the divorce rate in America, what's the current divorce rate in America? Let me see. The current divorce rate in America. Basically, the divorce rate, it says 3.2 per 1,000, but basically, let's see. Now this is old. What's the ratio of divorce? It's a bunch of googly gob. I think the last time I heard the divorce rate was like 70% or something like that. So you put in a wedding night that possibly is a 30% chance that marriage is going to end in a divorce. You put in close to $100,000, if not less, into one night or one event. Okay. It's just not wise, and you're not rich. You gotta understand, these are stats from people that, okay, we're not talking about rich people doing this. That's again that you got to understand. You're talking about a middle class person that is basically making $50K to $120,000 a year. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. Not the person I'm not talking about a millionaire that this is what they're spending on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody that has a job, that makes anywhere between $50,000 to close to, if not $100,000 or even less. This is absolutely why a lot of times people are not able to have upward mobility, because this is literally robbing you from that upward mobility. house $500,000. You know, whatever. You can even say half of that, $250,000. Car, $50,000. Debt, $600,000. This is, and he says, this is what seems successful in today's society. In reality, they're all just trapping you to make you work forever. That's what I was saying. Like, I literally been saying that from time to time throughout my channel, various different times. I mean, wage slavery is alive and well. Okay. Being a wage slave because you have expenses that absolutely require you to be a wage slave. I mean, I want to hear those slavery is a choice people, because basically that's a choice. You can live in your car. You can absolutely, man. I'm gonna show you what I saw earlier when I put on YouTube. Maybe my algorithm changed. I bet my algorithm changed, but I saw. Let me see. I saw some people talking about they was living in their house. I mean, living in a car. I saw that come up on my algorithm, on my YouTube feed. Let's see that. Yeah, this is it. So let me see here. Let me go and watch this real quick. You got a choice. It might be the hardest choice for you or whatever, but you do have a choice.
Tell y'all a story. I was, driving on the highway, road running, trucking as usual. And I know all trucks that pass me. Like, I always look at them, get a good visual of them, just to, just for my sake, for my being present. And noticed this one truck, he passed me. I'm in the slow lane, he going in the fast lane. He passed me. Seems like he was in a hurry, and so I'm like, okay, cool, dang, my nigga, like, bro, is it that serious? And I could relate, because I could be like that too, but at the same time, it was raining, all kind of stuff. So, I'm doing my thing, I'm driving, and look at this cat.
It looked like you got two
driving
women in the truck with him.
I see. I'm just keeping the steady motion, keeping the steady pace, keeping the steady speed, and I end up seeing him again. I passed him though. I passed him this time, and I said all that to say, really, it's like that in life too, where you just keep a steady pace, keep a steady motion, just worry about your lane, and staying consistent. With a consistent pace, you will pass others that passed you in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Money makes the world go round. Crypto makes the world go forward.
Morning, y'all. It's me and Kobe. Say what's up, bro. He only gets on the seat when we in traffic. Cruising.
So anyway, man, in short, this is what I'm talking about as far as extreme savings. Okay. Um, understanding what you dealing with, man, helps to make that decision. But I understand as a financial, basically up and coming financial guru myself, I understand what I'm dealing with. And one of the things that you do is you do have a choice to make a decision. Now, I'm not shaming anybody that does not make a decision to take some extreme measures. I'm not saying go get in a bunker and hide under a bunker and wait for the world to end. I'm saying if you look at this chart here, let me zoom this in, man, to kind of help you understand, what you're dealing with here. Like, basically, hold on. I didn't hit something or whatever. Let me see here. Let me go back. So when you look at this here and you see, okay, let me even zoom this even bigger. See if I can just make it just look, you see this here, this is what you dealing with. And you dealing with basically wealth inequality, like I said. That's why this is this here, and it's actually worse than this. So this is what you're dealing with. The poor is way down here, the middle. And the middle was not even what you think. Like, no, this is what America, what you think this is. But this is the reality of what it is. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong chart. This is the actual reality of wealth inequality. Okay. I mean, basically, in the middle class, comparatively speaking, is not even what this is portrayed. Actually, compared to this, the middle class would be people that make like $10 million or more. The true middle class, let me tell you something, statistically speaking, the median income is like over $100,000 a year, because there's so many elite, so many wealthy people that's carrying everybody else. You would say that everybody's making over $100,000 a year. It's not the case. A lot of people are very poor as well. The reason is because these wealthy elite are holding everybody else, averaging out everybody else to be like, okay, everybody make, on average $100,000, and that's not the case. And really, to be honest, the true middle class, I'm about to drop a bomb. The true middle class, if you got the wealthiest elite that's got like over $100 billion and stuff like that, so the middle of that have to be people that make like $100 million or more. That's the true middle class. Everybody else, unfortunately, I have to go black, peel, and dark. Everybody else is really, really poor. It's an illusion that you think that your 2-car garage and your middle class lifestyle with your $75,000 a year job and your house with the picket fence and your new Kia 2022, you're actually living a middle class life. That's an illusion. Okay, that's something that you were programmed to think so you can continue living that existence and keep going to work. If people weren't proud of themselves, they probably wouldn't really want to work. It wouldn't feel good at work. They would just, and it's some people you are miserable to a certain extent because they understand that they've been lied to. A lot of the younger people, they understand a lot, and they're not really fitting in well with the workforce. A lot of disease and stuff. But the thing is that it's okay to get your money and try to make whatever you can make, but don't be delusional if you can help it. Don't be delusional. And that's all I'm trying to tell you to why this is not easy to become a millionaire. You know, I spent a lot of time on this. I stayed up very, very late. That's normal for me, so it's no big deal. But I just want you to understand why this is so hard and what you're actually dealing with. So you don't come up to the illusion. You ground yourself and you be humble, you know, to not think that you are doing so well. You're not. You're not. Most of us are not. Most of us are way over to the left. We're not even really in the middle. The true, really, like I say, the true middle class would be like people that make $100 million or more, you know, stuff like that. That's more of the true middle class. Let me play a video to actually help you understand that. Like, I think I did like, I don't know if I did a short. I used to have a little sound clip to explain that. Because it's like, you know, when you break it down aggregate wise, you understand that everybody is not middle class at best. They're not. Let me see if I got that. Did I put that in the short? No, I didn't put that in the short. I had that as a a clip a long time ago that I don't have anymore. Do I have that clip? Let me see if I got that clip still. I don't think I got that clip. I think I deleted that. Pretty sure I deleted it. Yeah, I deleted that clip because you only get so many clips and stuff. But I should have probably kept that. But yeah, it's dude was on TikTok. It went viral, but you know, the wealth inequality is like off the chain. You know, I mean, that alone should have you wake up to really realize, like, you know, you really, it ain't what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? It is definitely not what you think it is by a long shot. It's not what you think it is. Yeah, this guy, he was on TikTok. I used to play his clips a lot. You know, and it was basically talking about how you might think that you're middle class and you're better than the next person. Like, according to, you know, like even according to like you know, somebody that's got $1 billion, you are nowhere near someone with just $1 billion. By nowhere near. Okay. Even if someone has $100 million, you're nowhere near that. So how would you really, what is, you know, what would be the true middle class, you know? So it's like, that's the middle class, I can do a video called The Middle Class Illusion, you know, the middle class illusion, because they want you to think that you middle class so you can, you know, basically feed the hamster wheel. You could go to work, pay for all of these liabilities, and then, you know, make everybody else rich, and then you're miserable and broke for the rest of your life until you wake up, you know. So I mean, that's all I have for you this evening. Again, you know, definitely check out my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan, available on Amazon, and also brokegeniuses.com. And, you know, basically Also, make sure you're healthy, because if your mind and your body is not healthy, everything else, it just doesn't really matter. It won't matter. So you definitely want to make sure you're healthy as well. One of my greatest assets is my health, and it's something that I'm working on, on a constant basis. It's my greatest asset, I would say, is my health. And also your children, man. Don't take away from this and feel like, you're less than or whatever. I'm gonna say this. Your children, if you do have children, is one of the greatest assets that you could possibly ever have. In a sense of like becoming a millionaire or whatever, that's nothing compared to my children, man. My children are priceless. Okay, so I don't, at the end of the day, man, I don't think nothing of like, as far as if you have healthy, vibrant children, your babies, man, that's priceless, bro. That's priceless. You can count your lucky stars and lucky moons for that, because a lot of people don't have that. And also, that's the greatest asset of all. That's why, I'm not gonna go into all of that, but basically, a lot of countries, they put a lot into their children because the children are the future, so they spend a lot of money for education and childcare and all of that. And the reason for that is because the children are the future, of the country. So that's one takeaway that I can have for you. But I'm gonna leave you with this commercial here, and hopefully you can learn from these statistics and take something away from this. Come check out owlsherbs.com, where we have all of your herbal needs and different variety of products, from sea moss to black seed oil, and a different variety of products for different health issues, because your health is your wealth.